Hey guys, Meteorologist Chris Tomer here with this afternoon mountain weather update. All right, here's what I'm seeing this afternoon. We're heading into what I'm calling the oscillator. So what does that mean? Well, the key time period, 1/6 through probably 1/9, 1/10, still a week away, which means the forecast numbers, the snow forecast numbers are going to continue to go up and down, up and down, up and down. One day they're up, the next they're down until we get closer to the event. Just keep that in mind. The pattern shift is still there, 1/5 and later. Colder, snowier window for Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, Colorado, 1/6 through 1/9, maybe even 1/10. California, you've got snow late 1/2 and a 1/3, and again on 1/6, and maybe one chance after that. We'll have to wait and see. The Northeast, I was asked the question, will the Northeast benefit from the western pattern change? And I do think that is a distinct possibility. With the strong storm system exiting the west and bringing some of that cold air and that jet energy into the Northeast. So it's possible. Even, I talked about it this morning. I showed you that there's a potential for heavy snow in the Northeast, and it's still there this afternoon in the forecast, 1/7, 1/9 through 1/10. So we'll look at all that in this update. Let me first take you to this is water vapor. So oranges and reds are your drier air. The moisture is in the whites and the blues. There's one low, another low behind it, and a stronger low right here. So this guy's not really a player. It dives south. Neither is this one. But this low is more of a player through California and takes the southern track, snows in Utah, Arizona, Colorado, and New Mexico. What that low does is it sort of opens the door for another low, which is off the picture. And that's going to be the number 4 storm, the pattern changer, which will move into the west. Here's the forecast radar and satellite. That's the current state of affairs. A little bit of light snow in western Colorado. Nothing to write home about. All right, advancing this into the future. So this is New Year's morning. There's New Year's afternoon. Nothing, not much. Here comes the next storm of consequence. So this is late 1/2 into 1/3. Boom, you've got snow. You've got appreciable snow through Tahoe and Mammoth, especially above 7,000 to 8,000 feet. If you're above 8,000, you're in better shape. Snow up through parts of Oregon, Washington, and BC. Now, this is the southern tracker. Watch it take its turn. It'll go down, depart, and hit Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico. A little bit of snow makes it up on the northern shield towards Salt Lake. We'll see if it makes it there, though. It's not a great wind direction for Salt Lake on the bottom end of that. But there's 1/4. That storm departs. A little bit of snow in Denver on Friday, 1/5, but it opens the door for this storm. This is the key one right here. You can see it coming out of the Pacific Northwest. It will link up with the northern branch. You'll have a nice big trough. I'll show that to you in the jet pattern. And that storm will then move in, colder air, lower snow levels, and there may be a second low behind that. And if it follows in on the heels of that, it may turn the winds a little bit more preferable to the west-northwest for the interior states. That's a long way off, but at least that storm system exists for 1/5 and after, because that'll be a key player. All right, let me take you to the jet pattern. You can see it, 1/5. Look at the dip in the northern branch, and finally we're going to bring in colder air. It has been now so long, at least 2 weeks. We haven't had any northern branch activity. Now here it comes. Now this is late 1/9. Again, if there's a second storm, there's room for it. There's support for it. You can see a little bit of a trough, a bit of an extra trough carved out there over Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, Colorado. We've got a lot of wind and jet support with this thing, cold air. You can see how the jet is amplified up into Canada. It's going to help to just bring down and slide that cold air down into the lower 48. All right, here is the forecast radar and satellite, the depiction for late 1/7. Widespread snow. It's cold enough everywhere for snow, from Banff all the way down to New Mexico. Snow all the way down to Denver and the valley floor. Widespread snow. If there's a second low, and it's possible, you can kind of see it making its way into the Pacific Northwest. There might be more energy. If it comes in immediately behind this, that would be advantageous for the interior states for sure. It would bring in and it would help turn the winds a little bit. We'll have to wait and see. It's not a lock. All right, snowfall numbers. We'll go through this in some depth here. So there's not a lot here in the first period, unless you're up in BC, Washington, Oregon, or California. Shasta gets a fair amount, mid and high elevations. Moderate accumulation. All right, 1/3 through 1/5. This mainly tracks that southern track storm coming out of California, 6 to 12 for Tahoe down to Mammoth. Southern Utah, 5-6 inches at Bryan Head, and 4 to 8. I like what I'm seeing, 4 to 8 for southwest Colorado, northern New Mexico. That's a really nice amount of bonus snow before this other storm comes in. In the Pacific Northwest, interior BC, 4 to 12 inches will probably do it. All right, now, again, this just illustrates what I was talking about with the oscillator. So the numbers are down a little bit in this update versus this morning. They may go up again tomorrow. They may come down again. I think you understand. It's just a long way off, and that's, everything travels in waves, even in the extended forecast. Everything's sensitive to the initial conditions, and that's what we're seeing here. But still appreciable. There's colder air, the things that we need. And if we can bring in that second storm and make it a two-storm combo, turn the winds, then we're looking at good numbers. But that's the way things look in this update. Let me take you to the northeast, and I'm just going to show you this. And once again, just covered in pink, just like it was this morning. This 1 to 2 feet of snow would be a lock on this graphic. So there's definitely some benefit here to what's happening out west to what's happening in the northeast. Now, the way I look at this is if everything lines up perfectly. If the storm track is right, if there's enough cold air, if we get 2 areas of low pressure that survive and redevelop up in the northeast. So I like to call it a best case scenario. I like snow, so this is a best case scenario. Time will tell. I'm sure there's going to be some oscillation here as well. But guys, thanks for tuning in here. Always appreciate it. Take care.